Hi, Deacon here. I am still a little bit sick, and I was still sick in this episode, so you're going to hear that. Before this episode of Call of the Void starts, I need to share something from Jack. So, without further ado, dear friends, I hate this so much. I never wanted this to happen, but due to several events and circumstances outside of my control, I am leaving Call of the Void. I do not wish to elaborate, and I would appreciate anyone listening to or reading this to respect that. In addition, I will no longer be working on any lore I had mentioned writing related to the show. This was a decision I never wanted to make, and one I don't make lightly. This feels like leaving behind a childhood home. At this point, I'd like to move on and make this transition as easy as humanly possible, which is wishful thinking, but it's all I've got. Thank you for all of your support during my time on Call of the Void. To be abundantly clear, I am remaining with the Fierce Ferrets, and I am still planning out my own projects, including returning to a bunch I had put on the back burner because of 2020 and relating circumstances. But as much as I desperately wanted to keep working on this show, life had other plans, as it so often does. I wish everyone the best, and you can still find me where I've always been on Twitter, at Jack of One Trade, at Wombat Baron, at The Rook is Out, and occasionally floating around the Discord. All of my love, Jack Mason. I do want to add on to this that the show isn't going anywhere. We're still going to be recording episodes, including this one, the Halloween episode for 2020. But yes, moving forward, I will be doing a bunch of guest episodes, as well as trying to find a new co-host for the show. There is one more episode that I will be editing soon that took place in February. It will be the last episode that features Jack. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy the content that we have for you guys. And yeah. Much love to everyone out there. And we will continue to have content for you as long as we can. But until then, enjoy the show.
Call of the Void contains strong language and possible trigger warnings and is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Deacon, and welcome to Call of the Void, a podcast about all things weird and macabre. Today, I'm going to be joined by two amazing, wonderful humans that I love so much. Hello to both Leia and Jen for this episode. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Process of elimination determines I'm Leia.
So, this is Halloween episode 2020. And I mean, it's been a weird ass year. So,
This thing I like to judge the year. Are you ready? Remember the Australian wildfires? That was this year.
that was in January. Yeah. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. It's been a weird year. But here we are with Halloween 2020. I kind of want to just ask you guys a couple of Halloween-y questions, that sort of thing. And then also, Leia messaged me with something last night that is the wildest shit that I need to hear immediately.
It happened around Halloween, so I thought, we might. Now it happened around Halloween, over a decade ago, which makes the story even more horrifying because that person in question is probably an adult by now.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I think just kind of to get started, I wanted to ask you guys a couple of things because apparently, according to Pat, Leia, you're not like super into Halloween.
I think Halloween is the dumbest thing ever, and everybody who likes it is a poop butt.
Leia, I like to think of Leia as the Grinch, but for Halloween.
I don't, but why?
No, I actually don't hate Halloween at all. Like, I enjoy going to Halloween parties and stuff like that. Just growing up, I kind of aged out of it. You know what I mean? Like the trick-or-treating aspect. As I got older, I liked instead staying at home. We'd still have candy and we'd watch scary films, that sort of thing. What drives me nuts about Halloween is the people who take it a little too far, in my opinion. And, you know, make yourself happy, whatever. But I have been on the receiving end of when people are like, let's go trick-or-treating. And I was in my 20s. And I was like, we're adults. Let's not do that. I don't want to get weird looks and have, you know, cops involved at some point. Let's just buy some candy, not take the candy from the kids. And they're like, how can you not like Halloween? And it just kind of snowballed from there. And that the thing that always drives me nuts is let's have 2 Halloweens in the year or Halloween every month. And I'm like, hey, well, what do you like, let's get rid of Valentine's Day and have Halloween in February. And I'm like, so you want to eat frozen almond joys, you dipshit?
See, look, my thing is that I want to do that. I want to get rid of Valentine's Day and do second Halloween, but mostly because my birthday is the day before Valentine's Day. So my birthday would be the day before second Halloween.
Well, you can always do it in your heart of hearts. And again, like I said, I don't hate it. I think it's good fun. I just have always had people, when I was like, nah, I feel like I'm too old for that, they get a bug up their butt. Listen, only things that can go up there, bugs are not one of them.
I mean, for me, it's more that, like, I super dig the aesthetic of, like, Halloween. I love all the, like, the pumpkins and the spooky stuff. And then I love when games do that, like a seasonal event, like in World of Warcraft or MMOs or card games. Like they'll change the game boards, or they'll change the map to include. That's always fun stuff. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've always like been super into the whole aesthetic of like Halloween, and I've always just like I don't know, I've always adored like all the like orange and black everything, and I don't know, it's always just been a big, like, it's always had a huge place in my heart. My
hair was orange and black before the orange just bled out after one wash. Now it's yellow. Yeah, I'm a witch and my hair did it.
But no, like I said, I mean, I pretty much like, I keep Halloween decorations up all year. Like,
that's because you're a nerd.
I don't take them down like ever, because I'm a spooky boy. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's just it's one of those holidays that, like, I like what it's about. I like that it's like I like that in a way that it's sort of like, you know, it's the like Samhain, like Day of the Dead sort of thing, where it's a celebration of those that have passed and that sort of thing. Like I think that's really nice, and it's kind, and I like it.
I'll tell you, I'd prefer the Halloween themed movies that come out right before than the Christmas movies that come out on Halloween as well. You know, like on Netflix, how you have that same film that's been done 1,000 times.
Yeah,
get some cool new stuff going on. Be like, hey, you know what? Let's just put a giant siren monster in there and make a about that. That's cool, I guess. It's better than, well, you know, I'm a lone girl coming back home from the big city to the Midwest, and I'm gonna find true love and leave my fiance.
Yeah, it's always some form of like wild Christmas, like the
and Halloween is, hey, you know what? We had witches in our sometime, and they kind of turned all the children into ants.
I mean, that's eerily close to like an actual movie.
There you go.
Except it's mice instead of ants. But
Makes sense.
but yeah,
the ants have super strength. Remember, they could lift 1,000 or 100 times their own thing. So you get a whole bunch of kids as ants, and I guess it's proportional then. They'll lift the witches and yeet them into the sun. That's actually what.
But with all of that, like it's like I said, Halloween is, and like you've said, it's better than how we've got like Hallmark playing Christmas movies right now. Yeah, Hallmark's been playing Christmas movies since the beginning of October.
How dare!
They just released a new Christmas movie on Netflix, and literally the plot that I just said, that like this ambiguous like Mad Libs Christmas plot, like that's the plot.
They're always exactly the same, and they steal from the exact same tropes or every single one of those movies, and they're all really bad. But yes, like Hallmark has been playing Christmas movies since the beginning of October, and I don't understand why. I if I had to choose a holiday that I like yeeted into the sun, it would be Christmas. But I don't know. Like I think
it definitely depends on the person. I always loved Christmas because I happened to like my parents, and we had a very. They worked 7 days a week for me growing up, so they would actually be home.
I mean, I guess that is true. I mean, I don't like Christmas.
I think it really depends on the person.
Yeah.
But also for Valentine's Day too. Like, I never cared about being alone until I got with Leia. So Valentine's Day never bothered me because I wasn't like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, it was fine. I didn't care.
To paraphrase, all holidays have their ups and downs.
I know people hate Valentine's Day because they're like, it's a Hallmark holiday. Listen, you're not wrong, but I think it is also nice as a way to remind people, like, hey, take time away from your busy poverty schedule and, like, hang out together like you want to.
I mean, I guess. But with that, I figured, like, the next one of the questions that I wanted to ask you guys was, so let's say that you were going to sit down and watch scary movies for Halloween, right?
Which we are, yes.
Yeah. So what is your favorite horror movie?
That is a good one. So I have a guilty pleasure. My guilty pleasure are slasher films.
Okay.
Right? I love stupid, trashy slasher films like Friday the 13th and that kind of stuff. But I don't think they would be my favorite unless I could find one that was just really simultaneously good and bad. That makes any sense?
Yeah.
A rare unicorn of a film.
Yes, basically. I need a unicorn Halloween film. I really enjoyed the Conjuring films with James Wan, directed by James Wan. Those were really good.
Okay.
High quality. I don't actually get to watch a lot of movies, so.
Oh, what about you, Jen?
Ooh, no, I know. My favorite movie, though, I just remembered it. It was Get Out.
Get Out is very good.
That is very
that twist in that made me cringe.
But yeah, so what about you, Jen? What's your favorite horror movie?
So a lot of my problems with horror films is usually they go really hard on the ending, where it's like they have to have this prophetic gotcha ending to it. And it makes it really hard for me to genuinely enjoy. And it's weird because I like watching horror films, but I usually end up hating them. Or like, they're so bad, that's how I end up enjoying them. Because I'm just waiting for that ending of like, let me guess, everyone dies. I'm looking at you.
Why are you throwing so much shade at the Resident Evil live action films? What did we ever do to you?
Oh no, I watched that with Kara. I just watched a film with Kara where it was about they're tracking this serial killer that jumps like house to house, and it turns out it seems like it moves with the family and murders them. And it was actually a really neat mystery. And then it was like at the end it was like, oh no, like it's a ghost, and oh no, you did the thing it wanted, so now you're all dead. And I'm just kind of like, so I've literally wasted my time here just watching everyone die because they made an oopsie. So like I get very easily frustrated with how horror movies try to end themselves. Because of that, my favorite horror movie is actually A Haunting in Connecticut, because I think it had an intriguing mystery while knowing how to end itself properly.
Okay.
Trying to be like,
Yeah, that was a good film.
it was a really good film.
I mean, so for me, I'm also in the camp of I like schlock a lot. So like I like those like really campy, awful slasher movies.
Yeah, like it's a popcorn thing. You just go in there, you know, you're like, that bitch is gonna die. It's gonna be a lot of fun. That is gonna die. Oh my god, I didn't see that coming.
So I mean, among my favorites are like, you know, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, like all of those. But I don't know. I it's hard for me to pick like a favorite horror movie. I have like a couple guilty pleasure horror movies. Jennifer's Body being one of them. I could watch that movie a million times. As much as I don't like Megan Fox, I could watch that movie. Like
We've all just been conditioned to not.
Yeah, I was about to say, honestly, after there was a whole Megan Fox debacle during the pandemic about it, where it's like, I think we all were just kind of tricked into hating her when she's not
Just
that
a-
bad,
yeah,
right?
just-
She's just
yeah.
You know, there.
But yeah, I mean, I love Jennifer's Body. Like that movie is so good. But yeah, I mean, I have too many. If I had to choose a favorite, Cabin in the Woods.
Never saw it.
I keep meaning to, like, I keep wanting to watch Cabin in the Woods, but it's like I've never gotten to.
So I want to pose a different question, because again, like, I'm not really a moviegoer, but I play a lot of video games. What about everybody's favorite horror game?
Ooh. Alien Isolation.
That's a good one.
Alien Isolation is such a good game, and it is literally, the AI is so unpredictable, and it learns as, you know, you do things, how to like find you. So if you hide under beds a ton, like the alien will start to look under beds. If you hide in if you hide in lockers too much, like the alien will learn that you're hiding in lockers. Like the AI for the alien will learn as it goes, like how you play the game.
It's sort of like what they did in the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes. There's this hidden mechanic that they don't talk about, but that the game learns from your difficulty. So like if you're struggling and you're low on ammo and you've been dying a bunch, the game kind of like puts on the kid gloves.
Right.
And then if you're really doing well, it really, like, the zombies become more aggressive.
Yeah.
And it's just like this little thing that you don't notice until it happens. Because I remember playing through it, I was like, why am I struggling on my second playthrough? I was doing so well the first like game and a half, and now I'm like struggling to get anything done. What about you, Jen? What's your favorite?
Horror game, correct?
Yeah.
Until Dawn.
Yeah, I already knew
1000% Until Dawn. Resident Evil is my favorite horror game series. Like, no doubt. I just and I'm not calling it the scariest or like, but
You're cutting out again.
Yep. Oh, sorry. I like leaned away in my. I get very animated when I speak.
You're fine.
When I move. And the thing about like Resident Evil is that I know it's not like the most inventive thing. They went really actiony, all this other stuff, but it's just always been something so charming, and I guess there's that nostalgia. But I will say the remakes have also been stellar. Resident Evil 2 is like
the remakes have been
second
baller.
favorite. Yeah, Resident Evil 2 is like second favorite right now. Resident Evil 3, they definitely upped it and has, the original Resident Evil 3 was like mixed received. This one, fantastic, but I still think I like 2 better. And I would love to see them redo 1 in that style. Like, I know we've already had a remake of 1, and I love the remake of 1, but I would love to see a behind-the-shoulder remake of 1. Because we don't have enough games like that where you're in a spooky house.
Yeah.
And that's the charm of the first Resident Evil, is the whole
Resident
spooky
Evil
house
7
thing.
did that really well.
But first person. I want, like, a third person, like Resident Evil 4, because Resident Evil 4 kind of created the play style of Resident Evil, like the future of Resident Evil. And now we're doing the first person thing, which is neat. I like it. But I really want to see Resident Evil 1 remade in that third person style.
Apparently, I've been hearing from people that there are rumors that they're about to remake Resident Evil 4, which I'm like, that is...
Right now, the rumor mill...
Don't need it, though.
No,
I think they should. But here's the thing. Right now, the rumor mill is it's either going to be 4 or Veronica. But both are going to get remade from the sounds of it.
Yes,
it's
eventually.
I hope it's Code Veronica. But I think it's fine they're going to remake 4. I'm down for that. I think it could use a graphic update and everything update. I hope they keep corny jokes in. Ooh, you good?
Yeah, sorry.
Don't die. I hope they keep a lot of, like, the corny jokes in and the fun stuff, but I'm ready to see them, like, go through that and what it brings. Because here's the thing, if you don't like it, the original's still there.
Yeah. I mean, I just, for me, like you said, Resident Evil 4 is, like, the one Resident Evil game that I had actually ever, like, played or touched before, we did the drunk fandom. And I had never played another, like, game, and it just seems like you said, Resident Evil 4 was the game that sort of, like, built the foundation for what all of the other, like, Resident Evil games were going to be. And I don't know, I would love to see a remake of 4, but there's part of me that also just kind of feels like, I mean, Resident Evil 4 is already perfect. Like, I know that sounds dumb, but, like, it just part of me that just feels like the original Resident Evil 4 is just perfect the way it is.
I'm an all to think that. I think to you, Resident Evil 4 is really perfect. And here's what I want to say, right? You ever play the original Legend of Mana PlayStation game?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Legend of Mana to me is a perfect game. It, at the time, had great co-op. Now it could definitely use some improvements. But at the time, it had wonderful co-op. And even the co-op is not terrible, but, like, it plays well, but it doesn't save information well. I would need, like, an essay to explain what I'm talking about there, so I won't. But to me, Legend of Mana is a perfect game. I have replayed that game dozens of times, and I do not replay games. It's done in a pixel style, which is aged very well. But at the end of the day, I would love to see that game be remade. Because I really enjoy seeing new and refreshing takes on this stuff. That even if it ends up not being good, I can still go back to the original. It doesn't destroy the original. Like, I think after X amount of years, that's a really cool thing to do, is to kind of go back and go, like, how can we bring this to a new audience in a fun way?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. But like I said, I mean, that's, Resident Evil is a very good pick. I'm excited for Village whenever that comes out.
I believe it's coming out this year.
I think so, but I can't remember. But anyway, Leia, what's your favorite horror game?
Oh, excuse me. Alan Wake. I love Alan Wake.
Okay, yeah.
It's not a traditional, like, horror game because it's a little bit more actiony, but the vibe is horror.
Yeah.
And I adore it.
It's like Stephen King-y.
Yeah, except the ending is good.
And it's actually halfway well written. Anyway.
The tragedy of Alan Wake is that it needs games and we haven't gotten them.
Well, I'm very excited to play, because Remedy basically did what, like, cinema companies are doing and comic companies. have been doing forever, where they're intertwining their projects. And Alan Wake is confirmed to be in the what is known as the Remedy-verse. And Control literally has an expansion called AWE, which I guess is short for Alan Wake expansion, but Alan Wake is in it. So I'm really excited to play that whole game.
Okay. But yeah, also in this house, we hate Stephen King.
In almost every house.
We bully Stephen King here.
We like seeing people look at Stephen King and go, but I can do better.
The best accomplishment Stephen King ever did was help create Joe Hill because he knows how to end stuff.
So we've talked about like favorite horror game, favorite horror movie. I have one more question, and then Leia, I really need you to tell me about this story.
You're hyping it up, so I'll try my best, but go for it.
So my final question is, out of all of the candy in the entire world that you could get for Halloween, what is your favorite candy?
Who should answer first?
You?
Well, dear friends, if you had asked me this question last month, I would have said Tootsie Rolls. But my friend introduced me to a candy that I cannot seem to find anywhere, that I truly believe is the greatest candy to ever exist now. Trying to like Google a picture so I can get the name correctly. Yes, it is Hershey's Crunchers Cookies and Cream.
What?
And oh no, this is not it. Hold on. They have so many cookies and cream candies, it's hard to like actually find what I'm talking about. It is a cookies and cream candy that are these little balls of cookies and cream. And it's the most delicious thing I've ever had, and I cannot find it anywhere.
I have
and I just,
literally
wait,
never heard of that.
I think these are it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're the most delicious thing I've ever consumed. These.
Wow.
They're so good. And I can't find them anywhere. I wanted to get a bag for Halloween because I'm like, you know what? I never eat candy. It's Halloween. Like, I can get myself a bag of candy. Tootsie Rolls have been ruined forever for me. The name is, they're called Hershey Cookies and Cream Cookie Bites.
I mean, that looks like something that I could probably find at, like, Walmart.
Like, we go to Target. We're Target folk. Just, I can't find it.
They'll let me use whichever bathroom I want. So,
true.
You know.
Well, I mean, you guys also don't have Walmart up there, so...
No, we do. We just hate them.
I mean, but, I mean, you don't have, like, Walmart stores.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We have Walmarts.
You do?
Yeah, we just don't go to them.
Because
I thought that New York, like...
family sucks.
I've always been told that, like, New York won't let, like, Walmart set up stores there.
Oh, honey, no, we live on Long Island. It's like New York, only racist and segregated.
That's true. I don't know if there are any in New York City, but out here on the island, yes, there are Walmarts. There's, I don't know, I can think of like 2. Like, they're not plentiful, but they're there. We went to one because they had an exclusive back when we were into the Disney Amiibo game.
Oh, yeah.
That's the last time we stepped into a Walmart because they had an exclusive one there.
I also played Disney Infinity, so I know what you're talking about.
There's Obi-Wan. You can't not have Obi-Wan, so we had to vent to...
So, to answer your question, by the way, about my candy,
yes,
it's a tie, because I love them both equally. I like Butterfingers, and I like M&M pretzels. Or pretzel M&Ms, I guess you'd call them.
Okay. So, for me, it is I also have a bit of a tie between, like, 3 different candies. So, I am a huge fan of jelly beans. I adore jelly beans. So, Jelly Belly is always going to be, like, in the like, top top tier of all of my candy ever. But if I'm putting that aside, because you really can't get jelly beans on like Halloween usually. They're like hard to find. You can really only find them during like Easter and shit. So putting that aside, black licorice. I love black licorice. Or I don't know what these are or what they're called, but they're old people candies.
What is the part of the podcast where we openly judge you and
they're old people candies. They're these little like strawberry things.
Oh, grandma candies.
Yeah, they're like they're wrapped and they look like a strawberry, and then they have like the strawberry like chewy juice stuff in the middle.
I don't think I've ever met. I wouldn't know what's in the middle. I've never seen or even owned one. I don't even know what they look like unwrapped.
I mean, they're like little hard candies. There's little red hard candies. They're delicious. And I can almost never find them anywhere. But they're so good. I always just assumed that like old people like that they like just appeared in my grandma's purse. That she just had like an endless supply of them because I could never find them at stores.
Got to make you very happy.
But I love those things a lot. Oh my god.
So for those of you who are
Jesus,
wondering,
2
I just found them
pounds?
online in like 30 seconds and then sent them a direct link.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably going to give him diabetes. I probably shouldn't have done that.
Maybe. But it's the same situation of like those that they used to have whenever I was a kid. I just recently found them again, but they used to have when I was a kid. They had these like lollipops that were like caramel apple lollipops. So it was like an apple lollipop that was coated in caramel. And I just recently found those again, like very recently. They sell them at like Dollar General apparently, and I was like, what? So like I oh my god, this is like the year of candy discovery.
You know what candy I miss? They did Butterfingers, but in like little circular, like, you know,
Like the ones I
yeah.
linked. Yeah.
And they called them Butterfinger BBs, and they never.
Oh,
They
yeah.
eventually stopped doing them, and they were just so much better.
But yeah, I like if I had to say like a candy bar, I guess I would say like a Zero bar. I don't know if you guys know what those are at all.
No,
I think I've heard of
what
it.
an Arrow bar is, but
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of Aero bars.
So a Zero bar, they come in like a silver package, and it is nougat with white chocolate over top of it.
oh, that sounds good.
And that's literally all it is. It is nougat with white chocolate.
Oh, I've seen them, but I've never tried them.
They are super good. They're like my favorite candy bar. But I usually don't go for like chocolate or whatever. If I'm like saying what my favorite thing is, I usually go for like fruity stuff. I'm not like the biggest chocolate fan. I like dark chocolate, but that's like about it. I don't like milk chocolate. But with that said, Leia, please, I want to know about this story.
Okay. Now this was, I'm trying to remember. God, it's over 10 years ago. So I have to just try and remember some of the details. I was working at Barnes & Noble, and it was around Halloween. And have you ever watched any of Investigative Discovery or any of those, like true crime shows?
Yes.
And have you ever looked at a kid and going, that kid's going to be a serial killer.
Yes.
So I had that moment in person, and oh Lord, I felt so bad for this mom. So let's go in and talk about it. I'm at the customer service desk at a Barnes & Noble that I worked at, and this mother looked completely normal. Right? Just like average looking mom, hair in a bun, that kind of stuff. Normal complexion. She looked a little tired and stressed. And I shortly discovered why. Because I look over the corner of the desk when they ask me for help, because she's like, I need you to help me find a book for my son. And she's like looking at me with these pleading looks, and I don't understand why this is so important. And then I look at this kid. This had got to be the palest kid I have ever seen. Have you ever seen The Strain on FX?
No.
All right, so let's just see what the Grigori looked like on The Strain. Okay, we're just going to bring that up here for a second. For those of you who don't know, The Strain is about vampires.
It is.
All right, I'm about to share a link with them real quick here. There's a Google search. That's how pale this kid was. I am not joking. They look like an actual vampire.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the mother's like, so I'm looking for something to get him, to enjoy reading and all this stuff. And she sounds so frantic. And I go, okay, well, what is he like? And she's like, well, that's the thing. We're trying to get him off of a previous thing that he seems to be obsessed with. And she kind of whispers that to me. And I'm like, okay, well, how bad can it be? So I'm like, oh, maybe you'd like some comics. Everybody likes Spider-Man. And this kid stares up at me into the windows of my soul and says, no, I want to read about Helter Skelter. Yeah. Do you know about Helter Skelter, Deacon?
No.
Wait, you don't?
No.
Oh.
Oh wow! So this is going to be a fun.
I mean, I've heard that phrase being used before. But
okay, do you know who Manson is?
Do I know who?
Charles Manson?
Yes.
Okay, so you know about his cult and everything.
I mean, yes. But again, I've heard that
he believed that there was going to be a cataclysmic race war that would end in the slaughter of all white people, and he called this Helter Skelter. And I was confused because the only Helter Skelter I knew about was the Charles Manson Helter Skelter. And so, stupidly, I go to the mom, is that like a new kids cartoon? And she looks at me and she goes, no, it's the Charles Manson thing. Just deadpan size. So I spend the next half hour of my freaking life with this kid trying to get him to not want to read about murderers. And oh, I should stress, this kid's like 6.
Oh my god.
When you heard me say kid, I wasn't talking about a teenager. No, this kid is 6, pale. I'm pretty sure his father is a fucking vampire. And now, and if he's not, then he's definitely a killer. Like, I guarantee you kids growing up love Dexter. And they're an adult now, by the point. Like, well, if they're still alive and their mom didn't, like, drown him in a bath, they're still alive and an adult. And that worries me because they're in my town.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like I said. That's why I don't know about like. I've heard like that phrase being used before, but I never like knew the context
Mhm.
or whatever.
So-
And it's because I don't read about serial killers.
Yeah. So you're obviously not in a married couple then at that
Why at
point,
least
because that's
it's-
like the thing. Yeah.
In the corner having many serial killers.
So I spend a half hour with this kid trying to get him to read everything, and eventually I just give up, and I'm like, man, what do you want to do? And she just gives up, and I bring him to the true crime section, and the look of joy. This kid was so creepy and weird the entire time. And I'm gonna be real with you.
Wait, she got him the Helter Skelter book?
Yeah. I think she
That's
was
how
just-
the story ends?
It ends with a serial killer in the making, yes. Yeah. She got it for him.
Okay.
I know. Isn't that wild?
Wow.
And I'll tell you, like, you know how when a kid lights up and they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Only when they got to the true crime section.
See, that reminds me of because you had said at the very beginning, you were like, you know how you can tell when someone is just gonna be like a not great person, or that they're gonna be like some sort of like serial killer or whatever. Like I had that experience when I was going to school. We had a kid in our class who I had multiple encounters with throughout the years. One of which was when I was in elementary school. He was reading Firestarter, which is a book about a girl with like pyromancy.
From Stephen King, yeah.
Yeah, and he.
So it's okay, because if they're reading that, then they can't know how to finish a fire, so they're safe.
Well, he was he went to the bathroom and was like lighting matches, and then started claiming that there was a bomb in the bathroom that was going to blow up everybody in the school. And he eventually he is currently in jail. Because in middle school he got mad at someone who had a locker above his, so they were like getting stuff out of their locker, and his locker was below theirs, and so they were like, hey, just let me have like a moment and I'll like get my stuff, and he stabbed them in the side with a pencil.
Wow.
And then that's not the reason that he went to jail. He went to the beach, Myrtle Beach, and was beating up his girlfriend and a kid. Yeah, and a kid. This was like the senior trip, so he had just graduated school, and a kid,
legal adult at that point, and just completely assaulted a person in front of everyone.
Yes, and a kid stepped in to like help his girlfriend, and he stabbed him to death. And now he is, yeah, and now he is in prison. He, yeah, it's, so we had someone who you could like tell throughout the years that he was just going to like, that it was going to be a situation where he was going to end up hurting somebody, and then he did.
And then all the men in the group just blame the woman, be like, why did she date him and give him false hope? If she wasn't dating him, he wouldn't be beating her.
But yeah, shit's wild.
That is wild, yeah.
But yeah, that wow.
Yeah.
Just a child.
Couldn't have been older than 6. It was the creepiest experience of my life. Like, it was like the kids in horror films that you worry about, and then their parent doesn't know anything is wrong. This woman knew something was wrong. I swear to God. And a couple of years later, after that film, or not film, I'm talking about a film that I'd watch. you're going to see why. So after I met that kid a couple years later, I finally get around to seeing The Omen.
I was literally about to say The Omen Child.
Yeah, and then I'm like, ooh, this.
Oh my god. Wow. Demon Kid. Well, I think that is about all the time that we have for this episode. But thank you both for joining me and for indulging in my stupid questions and for telling me that wild ass story.
I hope it lived up to your expectations.
It
because
did.
I remember when I messaged you, you're like, no, what?
Yeah.
I kind of sold it as in this is a wild story, and it is.
I mean, it is still a wild story. But yeah, like I said, thank you both for joining me. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you for
having us. It's always fun being
I'll always
on
remember
call.
this because my Amazon related items you'd view is now suggesting a bunch of strawberry candies.
Good. But I'm gonna do the indie bit. So yeah, thank you to our wonderful friends over at Fierce Ferrets for hosting us on your site. I very much appreciate it. You can go check them out at twitch.tv/fierceferrets. Didn't fuck that up. And you can also check them out on fierceferrets.com where they make a bunch of comics and you can listen to all of our other shows and stuff. It's great. If you want to go follow our social medias, we are pretty much everywhere at the COTV podcast. And you can find all of our like Patreon information and all of that over there as well. Speaking of, I'm supposed to give a like shout out to our patrons, which I'm pretty sure are just the Fierce Ferrets. Brandonson, Pax, Jerda. I think that's it. Oh, Austin 1000. Yeah. That should be everybody. But yeah, with that, also you can get access to our Discord server if you are on our Patreon. One of the tiers is that you get access to our Discord server, and yeah. I think that's pretty much everything. Pretty sure that's pretty much everything. But, well then, like I said, with that, we will see you guys in the next episode. And until then, sweet dreams.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching our video. Now to give a special shout out to our sponsor tier patrons. Nejikuma, we appreciate all the support you give to us. You keep the channel growing and the content flowing. If you want to be alerted to when we post a new video, make sure to ding that bell next to the subscribe button. If you like the content you see here, then consider tossing us a follow on twitch.tv/fierceferrets.
And if you're really feeling the ferrety love, please consider supporting our work at patreon.com/fierceferrets. We don't make any money here on YouTube, so we rely on the generosity of our Twitch and Patreon subs, listed in these credits here, to bring more quality entertainment to you. And you'll get some great rewards for helping out. Thanks again, friends!
And we'll see you next video.